Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CapeSpace Connections. I'm your host, Haley Cote. I'm the community manager of CapeSpace Mashpee, and I'm thrilled to have with me here today, Muska Yousuf. Hi, Muska. How are
Hi,
you?
good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today.
Me too.
Yes. So if you're ready, we'll just dive on in here.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So to start off, Muska, if you can tell us a little bit about what you do for a living.
Yeah, so I am an attorney and I specialize in family law and divorce. I do a little bit of landlord-tenant as well, but the majority of my practice is dedicated to family law and divorce.
Okay, great. How long have you been doing that, Muska?
So I have been doing for probably about 5 to 6 years. I've
hmm
been practicing, but for the last year and a half, I opened my own practice.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a wonderful experience.
Yeah. So what led you specifically into family law? What drew you to that?
Yeah, so when I was in law school, I had a really great professor who taught Introduction to Family Law, and he's
Mhm,
a big name in the Massachusetts family law world. His name is Charles Kindergan, and
mhm,
he has since passed away, but he was just such a phenomenal professor that got me really interested in family law. And
mhm,
then later, I clerked with a juvenile judge his name was the Honorable Jay Blitzman,
mhm,
and so I kind of saw firsthand what it was like in the context of juvenile law. And
mhm,
after that, my mind was pretty set that that's what I wanted to go into.
mhm. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is it specifically about family law? Like what about, or you're just the day-to-day work that you enjoy
Mhm.
most, that's most rewarding to you about the work?
Yeah, well, I think the thing that's most rewarding to me is my practice. I set it up specifically because I saw a void in the market,
Mhm,
and it gives me a lot of joy to be able to help people that kind of are in this in between stage. So,
mhm,
Haley, one thing that's interesting in the family law world
mhm,
that some people, depending on how much you know about kind of the civil side of things, in criminal law, a defendant is guaranteed a free attorney.
mhm,
But in civil law, that's not the case. So,
mhm,
unfortunately, what happens is it can be very expensive. And
mhm,
there are pro bono services that are available to people. However, you have to kind of qualify to get pro bono services. And
mhm,
there are a lot of people in our community that don't qualify for that. So they make a little bit too much money to get a free pro bono attorney,
mhm,
but they cannot afford to pay kind of the traditional attorney fees. And so I realized, there's a huge group of people that need help. And so it gives me a lot of joy to be able to help that specific community of people.
mhm,
And I think that it's eye-opening how different your outcome can be if you have an attorney in family court. And
mhm,
so I think the greatest thing to me is talking to people, giving people that opportunity to be heard. Because if you think about
mhm,
it, Haley, there are a lot of people that are fighting for custody of their children, and that's
mhm,
a big deal. And if you feel kind of lost and you can't afford an attorney because a lot of places, you have to pay a huge retainer, and then
mhm,
it can be $300, $400 an hour,
mhm.
and nobody
Yeah.
can afford that,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's my favorite thing about my job is like seeing people feel like finally they have someone who can fight for them where they
Mhm,
feel like they would not have had that opportunity
mhm.
in any other context.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be so gratifying to be able to help people in that way.
Yeah, it really is. And, and I consider myself, in that same category. I think on the Cape, there were a lot of working class people. We work really, really hard, but we
Mhm,
can't necessarily afford, maybe in different areas of Massachusetts where, it might be normal to people to put down $10,000 for a retainer. But I don't think that works here on the Cape. I couldn't
mhm,
afford that myself. So yeah, it is. It feels great to be able to help people in that group.
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see, Muska. So during this whole COVID era we've been living in, what's the biggest change you've seen professionally to what you've been doing?
Yeah, that's a great question
Mhm,
because as an attorney, the biggest thing has been that the courts have completely revamped their whole style of doing business. So that's been the biggest kind of change is, you're no longer in the courtroom anymore. All of my hearings, things are still happening, but they're either happening via telephone or through Zoom. And it's actually been really interesting. The Barnstable Probate and Family Court is really, really good with a Zoom. They're on top of it. So I don't know so much about how the other courts are doing adapting to the Zoom, but Barnstable Probate and Family is amazing. And so that's been kind of interesting to be able to do a court hearing just, from my room. And I've yet to have to do a trial. I do think for certain things it would be hard to do Zoom. But that's been very, very interesting to see how that has changed. And then even my interaction with clients have all been through Zoom or through the phone. So that's been kind of an interesting shift, because I do think when you're working, especially in family law where things are very emotionally charged, there is something lost, because sometimes when you're sitting face to face and you can look someone in the eye, you can give them some comfort that I think sometimes is hard to do via Zoom.
Yeah, no, totally understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Muska, how long have you been a member at CapeSpace now?
Yeah, so I think CapeSpace has been a part of my kind of journey the whole entire way. And I really believe I would not be able to do what I do without CapeSpace. So I
Wow.
started my practice about a year and a half ago. And I think the very first thing I did before doing anything else was reach out to CapeSpace. Because I figured another thing that I think is interesting is I think the future of legal services will be different. And I think we're of the generation that's starting to change that. And I think since I was so committed to, I want to provide an affordable alternative to my clients, I knew that if I had a brick and mortar shop, I would end up having to jack up a lot of the prices, because they would be paying for overhead and they'd be paying for rent and stuff like that, that didn't have any direct correlation with the actual legal services that I was providing. So I was like, wow, this is wonderful, because what CapeSpace can do is it offers me a place where I can meet with my clients and I can have one-to-one face-to-face conversations, and I don't have to jack up the price for my clients. So really it's been astounding, because most of the work I can do from home, but there are some things that necessitate a conference room, and that's where CapeSpace has really been pivotal and very important to my entire business model. And all of my clients have loved it. When I started, I was like, I wonder if people are going to be confused by not having the kind of brick and mortar shop. But
Right.
every single one of my clients loves it. And the offices are so beautiful and so welcoming that everybody is impressed when they come in.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Muska, you're a virtual office client of ours, correct?
Yes, I am. Well, for
Yeah.
the time being, yes. But I do believe once kind of COVID is settled, I will be, I think, going towards kind of the more traditional membership. But that's another thing I love about CapeSpace is how accommodating and flexible you guys are. And it's funny because Robin and I joke because I probably had every single membership possible at CapeSpace. And I think, but that just goes to show you that, CapeSpace is willing to work with you, because when you're starting out a business, you don't really know what membership works. So it's a trial and error. But right now, the virtual membership is working perfect. And it's great to just feel as though there is a place where I can really say, okay, this is a place that as my business grows, I can kind of talk and adapt with them.
Yeah, and you can make it your own too, which is
Absolutely. Yeah.
great.
And
Yeah.
that's something that I absolutely love about CapeSpace that you wouldn't get in a lot of other places. Like if you have a traditional landlord, it might be harder to have them work with you about, how to go about running your business when this pandemic has taken over. But CapeSpace allows that.
And one of the beauty of the virtual offices, to the folks watching out there, is that you do get discounts on hourly rentals, so you can come in and rent a meeting room and get that member rate. So that's one of the perks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just it's such a great program. And I really believe this is going to be the future of legal services. And I think that, I think, maybe 20, 30 years from now, I think many more attorneys will be going the route of using a virtual space or using, CapeSpace or some other kind of mechanism to meet with their clients.
Yeah, we had already been seeing the popularity of it pre-COVID. So yeah,
Yes,
definitely. So it'll be
exactly.
interesting to see, how it grows and
Yeah.
grows. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's such an interesting field. And I'm so happy that we have the service on the Cape because when I was in Boston, you see different things in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had moved back to the Cape, I was like, oh my goodness, I hope there's something like this on the Cape. And there is. So that's wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hmm.
And again, for you folks watching at home here, if you'd like to learn more about a virtual office membership or just any membership, please visit capespace.com. So Muska, now I'm going to get into a few more, a little more lighter hearted, fun questions. You ready?
Great. Yes, I'm excited.
So Muska, what is your favorite hobby?
Ooh, okay. Well, this is a new hobby of mine that I picked
Mm-hmm.
up during pandemic is running. So I've
Okay. Oh,
started
good.
the couch. Have you heard of the Couch to 5K program? It's like,
No.
yeah, it's just great. It's this little app because I'm such a beginner.
Mhm.
It's this app that kind of is, it's 8 weeks, but I've been a little doing it, taking it a little longer, of like gradually learning how to be able to run a 5K. And I'm so
Mhm.
surprised that I'm liking it because I've never been a runner. But yeah,
Mhm.
hopefully this sticks.
Right, right. Good for you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Great. So on Cape Cod, where's your go-to spot? Where's your favorite spot to frequent?
Ooh, okay. So I grew up in Eastham, so I think I know
Okay.
that kind of general area better.
Hmm.
And my spot, kind of before COVID, is there's two places that I would always go and grab a coffee or I bring
Hmm.
my computer, and one is the Sunbird in
Hmm.
Orleans. Have you heard of it, Haley?
I don't think so. No.
Oh my goodness. Once this COVID is over, I'm going to take you there on your day off. I mean,
Yes.
because it is, everything's delicious. Like I
Mhm.
remember once I just ordered like toast with
Mhm.
butter and it was good. And I was
Oh
like,
my
wow.
gosh.
I'm like, I don't know how they made toast and butter like revolutionary, but they did. So Sunbird in Orleans is amazing. That's my go-to
Hmm.
place. And then I also really love the Chocolate Sparrow Cafe that's in Orleans.
Okay.
And
Yep.
that, that's a wonderful place. They have really good coffee. They have really great chocolates. They have everything, and there's so much space to sit in.
Hmm.
So those are the two, like my two favorite places to go, and I cannot wait to be able to go
Hmm.
back. But even
Hmm.
now, I believe both places still have like takeout, so I've still been able to enjoy them
Oh,
that
nice.
way.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't make it to that end of the Cape as much as I'd like. So
Right. That's
yeah.
why after this, I'm going to force you to come because
Yes.
your life will be changed, especially when you have that toast with butter.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Okay, so Muska, what are you currently binge watching or yeah,
Ooh. Oh
what's
my gosh, so much. So I got a
uh-huh.
Hulu account and
Uh-huh.
I watched Mrs. America. And
Okay.
I just was into it. And it was actually an area of the law that I thought I knew, but I didn't. You know, you learn a lot. So it's kind of about the ERA and what's her name? Kate Blanchett is in it. There's a lot
Hmm.
of big
Yep.
names. So I've been
Mhm.
binge watching that. Out of nowhere, I've gotten really into Little House on the Prairie.
Oh my goodness.
So I started watching Little House on the Prairie, really
Mhm.
random things, but it's good every once in a while to just binge and watch some guilty pleasure, and
Mhm.
especially if you have a stressful job, to just have something else that you can do and watch for fun.
Oh my gosh, yes, we all need to escape.
Yes, exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Let's see. So Muska, this is a fun question. What would you say is your superpower?
Ooh, my superpower. Okay, I think I have. My family's gonna laugh about this because they contest this, but I can say with a straight face it's true. I have never ever in my life lost a game of Connect Four.
Oh, that is so random, but I love
It's
it.
so random, right? And my family tries to say, no, that's not accurate, but it is 100% accurate.
Mhm.
And I don't know why I'm so freakishly good at this game. I don't know why I'm so proud of this game because it's definitely like something for elementary school students. But I'm just, masterful.
Mhm.
That's Connect Four.
Oh my gosh. I know I haven't played that since I was a kid, but I might have to challenge you the
Oh,
next
well,
time
I mean,
we can.
as long as you're a gracious loser, I think that'll be fine.
We shall see. Oh goodness. And finally, Muska, what would you say is the best advice you've ever been given?
Ooh, oh, you know what I think it is
Mhm.
especially, and I think about this a lot as I started my own business,
Mhm.
is that you really have to jump into things before you necessarily feel as though you're an expert. And I think that is something that has been really helpful as advice, because I think sometimes you think, well, I can't make this leap or I can't do this next step until I've, proven mastery in something.
Yeah.
And that's just not realistic. That's never going to happen. And if you just wait for that, you'll never get something done. And then also you just notice that a lot of other people who are doing what you kind of are dreaming of doing, they don't know all the answers either. But I think, everybody is winging it. Everybody is faking it till they make it. And I do think that that's an important piece of advice that I've gotten, is just kind of jump in and you'll figure it out as you go.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. That's advice I wish I had gotten sooner in my
Right,
life. So,
right.
yeah.
Exactly. It took me a
Yeah.
while to get that one, but I think that's my favorite advice that I've received.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome. Let's go. Well, this has been a blast talking to you here. Before I let you go, if people want to learn more about you or reach out to you, where can they find you?
So I'm still in the process of working on my website. So I would say my phone would be the best way. So I can give that information. My business phone number is they can contact me at 508-237-7785.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, Muska, thank you again for joining us. This has been awesome.
absolutely. Yeah, it's great to see you again.
Yes, you too. Hope to see you soon in
Yes.
person. Well, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.